guys? It's Nicole, also known as Nikki Vegan, and I know that the holidays can be a really fun and festive time for a lot of people, but I was talking to a friend of mine recently and we were discussing how the same holiday that's fun and festive for some people can also be really lonely and isolating for many of us, and I've felt that myself. So I wanted to make a recipe that is not only something that you can treat yourself to, but it's something that you could easily make for a friend as a gift, or you could invite your friends or family over and you can all get into the kitchen and make it together and really make memories and connect over something as simple and delicious as pumpkin bread. I know it might take a little bit of getting out of your comfort zone, but I really do think that this is the time of year to do that. So I really hope you guys love this recipe. This video is brought to you by Thrive Market, which is where I get all of my baking essentials. And especially this time of year, I like to load up on things like flour and baking powder and cinnamon and vanilla extract so that I can go into the kitchen whenever I want and whip up something really delicious and festive. And not only does it save me a bit of money by shopping on Thrive, but also I really love that for every membership they get, they give one to a teacher, a student, a veteran, or a family in need. And I really love that ethos. So if you guys want to try Thrive Market, there is a link for you in the description box below, as well as the full recipe for this pumpkin bread and a quick little shopping list to make things easy for you guys. So with all of that said, let's get started. I'm going to start by making a flax egg, and you always see me starting with this because it takes about 10 minutes for the flax egg to kind of thicken up. And I like to make sure that whenever I'm in the kitchen, I start with the thing that takes the longest and work down from there. And I know that seems like common sense, but it can be really annoying when you're in the kitchen and you're waiting for something to thicken, or you have to wait for dough to rest. If you work backwards from the most time consuming to the least time consuming, it's going to be a much more efficient and enjoyable process. So while that's thickening, I can work on the dry ingredients. And for this, you're just going to need flour, baking powder, baking soda, and some sea salt, which gives this a really nice buttery flavor. And then I like to add cinnamon and nutmeg. And then I just use a fork and kind of fluff this all around. I think a fork is the easiest way to really make sure that all of the spices and the baking powder is evenly distributed into the flour. For the wet ingredients, I'm just going to combine some cane sugar with some melted refined coconut oil. And I've tested this recipe several times with different kinds of vegan butter and different kinds of oil. And refined coconut oil actually was the winner. It had the best flavor and the best texture, so that's why I use it. And then I'm going to add the flax egg, which is thickened up now. And I'm going to mix this pretty rigorously for about 2 minutes. You really want to mix this well because you want the sugar to dissolve a little bit and you want this to thicken up. Then the real star of the show here is ginger. You think it would be pumpkin, but ginger is such an important ingredient here, and I like using fresh because it just adds this brightness and this just fall, autumn flavor that you cannot get any other way. I think it's one of the most important ingredients here, and so I'm gonna go ahead and grate that and add 2 teaspoons directly into the wet ingredients. Once that's mixed, I'm just going to transfer it into a greased loaf pan. I like to use one that is both non-stick and well greased just to prevent any mishaps later on. And this is a very dense, delicious cake, but it does need a little bit of time in the oven. It takes about 1 hour and 15 minutes in my oven. So pour yourself a cup of coffee. If you invited your friends over, this is a great time to chat because it's going to be about 1 hour to 1 hour and 15 minutes. In the meantime, I thought I would show you some measuring hacks that again seem like common sense, but they can kind of make or break your recipe if you're baking, because baking is kind of a science. So what I like to do is if I'm measuring something like pumpkin, instead of using the measuring spoon as a scoop, I like to actually spoon the pumpkin into the measuring cup and then kind of level it out. And what that does is it makes sure you get an accurate measurement and it's not too densely packed, because if it was densely packed, you would end up with a little bit too much and that could change the result of whatever you're baking. Same is true with flour. If you end up with too densely packed flour in your measuring cup, it's going to be dry and it's not going to have the right consistency. So you want to go ahead and fluff up your flour before you measure it so it's not so densely packed into the bottom of the container, and then lightly scoop it and shake off the excess, and that will result in the perfect flour measurement. So I'm just going to let the pumpkin bread cool completely, And I like to do this on a wire rack so that air circulates all the way around and you don't get that dense part in the bottom that's always a little bit doughy if it sits on a flat surface. And then I'm gonna go ahead and make a really delicious and simple icing for the top. It's really just a mix of powdered sugar and water, and it turns into this really velvety, silky glaze that looks so pretty on top. I hope you guys love this recipe and that you will try it, make it for your friends or with your friends and family. Maybe, call up that friend that you haven't seen in a while, or if there's a neighbor or someone at work that you've been wanting to connect with but you didn't really know how, invite them over to make pumpkin bread, because I'm pretty sure everybody loves pumpkin bread. It's kind of a universal thing, and it's a really easy way to break the ice, which is kind of the biggest barrier when it comes to making new friendships and new relationships. So definitely give that a try. I know that it can be a little bit uncomfortable or a lot uncomfortable, but this is the time of year to really make memories and to spend time with people, face to face, real people, and I think that this would be a really great opportunity to do that. So give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in a video very soon. Bye.